Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, life is challenging at times. We have so much going on. And you're trying to live a great, fulfilling, happy life. There's no reason why you shouldn't. It's my belief the universe wants that for you. Why else would we be here? But there's stuff that gets in the way or stuff that challenges you. We're going to talk about that today. She is a mindset coach and also an accountability coach. She helps people all the time figure life out, find the easiest path to your success. She's Trinity Baker. She's a mind coach. She's back with us. Welcome. How are you?
Steve, always a blessing to be here with you, especially on this beautiful Friday, talking about the chaos of life and how to live a life that you love, regardless of the chaos around. I think that probably every single one of the listeners can say, hey, I got that chaos. So I'm hoping that we can help some of our listeners today really understand the purpose of life and how to really enjoy life, regardless of the chaos. Thanks for having me.
Sure. It's so funny. I just looked in the background of your Zoom, and I'll describe it because if you're listening and not watching, it says the purpose of life is a life of purpose. And yeah, so you want to live your best life full of purpose. Why else would you be here? It's interesting that we're talking about this because when I was, this is only a few years ago. I'm not super religious. I used to go to church a little bit more. I gravitated to a Christian church. I'll go, every couple of weeks with my older daughter, and it's kind of our thing. And even 5 years ago, people would say, "Peace be with you. Peace be with you." Honestly, I don't know what they were talking about. I really didn't. I know it sounds ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, peace. Yeah, whatever. Until I realized that I don't have any peace. We have a problem here. And then I realized that and I'll go personal, the big house, the white fence, the kids, the cars, the dogs, the cats, this is the way it's supposed to be, isn't everything. Isn't everything. You could have, if you have true peace and you're content, you could be living on a shack on a beach, and that can do it for you.
And I would even argue that those people who are living in a shack can have more happiness than the people who have it all, right? Because it is all about how you perceive things.
Sure.
And I love that you brought up that sign. That sign is purpose of life is a life of purpose, because I'm always talking about the fact that like you just said, the universe wants us to be happy. We are here, whatever your higher power belief is, we are here on purpose. We were created on purpose for many purposes. I just did a free training last week with an amazing group of individuals. And one of the days we talked about really identifying and discovering your purpose. And so we all have many, many, many multiple different purposes, right? So like Steve's purpose right now in his career in this position is to bring individuals who are inspiring, who are thoughtful, who are thought leaders, to bring these topics and inspire and give hope and educate our listeners, right? And so your purpose is to make these shows the best that they can be. My purpose is to come on here and pour my inspiration and education into people to understand mindset and understand that life is the purpose of life is a life that you love with that peace. And so when you feel the lack of peace, what I see is it's a lot of times sort of like a alarm. I want you to picture like a fire alarm, but an internal alarm saying, hey, you're off track somewhere. So whether that be finances, maybe you feel like super overwhelmed about finances. That's not peaceful. There's something somewhere you got to learn and retrack. Maybe you feel out of peace, out of alignment with your relationship. Your body, when you are feeling out of alignment and don't have that peace, that's the universe saying, hey, you're out of alignment. And so what happens is then the universe gives us challenges to learn and to grow. and we look at challenges as barriers and why me, and nothing can go right, when the purpose of these barriers, these challenges, is for you to overcome and grow. So if you have an area of your life like finances, for example, and you feel stuck, out of alignment, without peace, and you keep getting these challenges like a new bill, or something comes up and you look at it as this big barrier that you can't overcome, when it actually is something you're supposed to be learning from. So that's what I do as a mindset coach, is I help people work through challenges to find the lessons so that we can grow from them, because the challenges will keep coming when you're out of peace and out of that alignment in the area, right? Because we all have like 20,000 different areas of life that we juggle every day.
In my journey, you're 1,000,000,000% right.
Yeah.
And the things that I worried about, I know it was a lesson, but I can say, I wish I didn't worry about them.
Yeah.
But there was a reason I worried about them. So the universe could say, don't worry about them. It's going to be okay. But you're right in that until you accept or realize what the universe is saying, it's going to keep knocking at the door with something else for you. It's going to keep repeating, here it is up again. You need to see that. And I think in music a lot, because I've been playing music on the radio since I was 17.
Yeah.
And still do. I do a radio show, I do podcasts, I do marketing, everything. A song dropped in my head based on what we were just talking about. And it's a song that came out in the late 70s by the band Styx. I don't know if you know it, The Grand Illusion. And I just pulled up the lyrics as we're talking here. And essentially, it's don't be fooled by the radio, TV, magazines, everything you see, because they're trying to show you what your life should be. So if you think your life is complete confusion because you never win the game, just remember it's a grand illusion. And deep inside, we're all the same, all the same. So basically, we think that's what we want because of things that we see. But inside, it's really not what we need or want. We just keep going for it. I need to go better. I need to get better. I need more. I need better. I want to show people I succeeded. I want to show. You're wasting your time. Stop. Stop right now. I'll give you, and here's another one for you. And it's not about me, but I want to share it because I think it illustrates everything here. I met some new people recently, and this one man told me about his friend. This man, his friend, uber successful, bazillions of dollars, penthouse overlooking Central Park in New York City. Top of the game. Guy retires. My friend walks into his penthouse. Hey, how's it going? The guy was balled up on the floor in the fetal position, grown man, crying, freaking out because he's retired now. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do with his life. It's all crumbling, and it's all relative. He had everything. He still has everything, but now he doesn't have a purpose.
Doesn't have a purpose. And that's the thing, is that, so if that man, for example, would look and say, okay, what's my next purpose? Maybe he was, take the skills that he had in his previous career that he just retired from. How can he then give back to those who couldn't afford where he was, whatever it is? So if you're a banker, you've got financial skills that you can pass on. If you are a therapist, you have those skills you can pass on. And so after retirement, we're supposed to find an enjoyable way that fulfills us and serves others. And so there's so many people that miss that part of retirement. Now, I'm not saying go do it full time, right? But you still tap into that purpose. We are here, we're given skills that we have on purpose. And so there's always that next chapter of, how do I use these skills? I've talked about my nursing career. There are skills in my nursing career that I learned that I use today in my mindset coaching.
Sure.
And so if I had looked at that nursing career and I had that's a total loss of identity when I stopped being a nurse after 14 years, right? But it's really looking at your purpose. I mean, we all have different skills and different characteristics and morals and so many things that make us unique. And we are supposed to be unique. We are made that way on purpose. And we have to stop thinking that there's this cookie cutter of who we are supposed to be emotionally and physically. And accomplishment wise, we're all on our own paths. And like you said, like deep down, after everything said and done, we're all people. We're all
Mm-hmm.
soul. We all have different purposes, and we got to stop comparison. Comparison is like such a thief. It's unreal. Unreal.
Totally agree with you. And I'm a believer in things happen for a reason. So do you believe that you had a medical career prior to doing what you're doing as a mindset coach now? Because that was the setup. Like maybe you needed that to help people even further now.
Yeah, absolutely. In many different ways. Off the top of my head, a couple. I had social anxiety. I would have never, ever, ever, ever been on a podcast, let alone speaking on stage as a motivational speaker. I would have never been doing webinars, seminars. And so my nursing career gave me the social skills as a brand new nurse. And then I stepped into a position of education as a nurse. And so while I was standing in front of a room, although the room was smaller than what I'm typically speaking to today in a different area, it was still standing in front of the room and learning those skills of education, keeping people's attention, giving them quality information, how to teach people. Everyone has different learning styles. And so I learned all of that as a nurse. And then my last stint of hands-on nursing was psychiatric nursing. I needed to know a lot more about mental health. I also needed to know the disconnect and how disempowering our society is for mental health, and where there is such a gap in between supports and services, and how we just kind of throw medication on anything. I needed to see that and deal with that and get challenged with that firsthand in order to then understand we need to tap into the one resource that we have. And not that this will fix everyone, not that this will help every mental health condition. I'm a total believer in behavioral health supports, counselors, therapists, psychologists.
Sure.
They have their place. But I think a lot of people, like anything else, diets, we're looking for that quick fix. It's all internal. Our mindsets are powerful. We
Mhm.
just use them. And so that's what I am super passionate about today, because I was able to see that disconnect working in psychiatric nursing.
It's all there. And you saying that you didn't have confidence to go on, podcasts and all that. I've never believed it. You speak better than so many other people I know that do what you do. I'm going to be honest. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I take that compliment and say, hey, I'm giving other people hope that you too can overcome whatever you are faced with today with the right supports, the right knowledge, the right accountability. And that's why I am a mindset coach, because I deal with people who, we're in March. I live in Maine. It's like 5 degrees here. We're going to get like 2 feet of snow tomorrow. I deal with people who have seasonal depression. I help them come out of that, not need medication, not need to see a mental health professional every single week. I mean, I've seen people that I've been working with, clients, come off medications, avoid taking medications. It's all in your mindset. We have the power to change everything. And oftentimes what we want to do is change the outside. We don't want to change the inside. We want to change our job.
Mm,
We want to start a business,
yep.
get a new car. We want that white, that house with a white picket fence. We want a wife. We want a husband. Where is my one? And so it all leads down to, when you become your best self, using the power of your mindset, really focusing on you and not other people, everything will fall into place. And if it doesn't fall into place, then you're confident in knowing, I need to switch paths. If you do that before you work on you and you become your best self, you'll be lost. You'll change paths to something that doesn't serve you.
Right. I think we might have and I want to address that in a second. We might have a call. I don't know if on this line we can hear them, but let's give it a try. Hey, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, it actually works. All right. Who's this?
I'm David. How are you?
Hey, David. David checking in from Searsport, Maine. You have a question for us?
Yeah, I have a question. So I'd like to talk. I think they call it work-life balance. I think with everything going on at my job. And then by the time I'm not even in the car home from my job and I'm getting texts and emails, I'm just not able to keep up with everything. Like I'm not even returning my friends' phone calls at this point in my life. I mean, projects are piling up at my house. And then when I try to do that stuff, it cuts into my job. So what do I do?
Yeah. David, I think that you just described most of how most Americans feel, right? Because we are overloaded. We have a lot on our plates. And so what I do with clients when we first come in is we dissect all of your areas of life. So your mindset, how's your mindset feel? What do you want it to feel? How is your time management now? How do you want it to be? How are your relationships? How do you want them to be? We have to look and prioritize what is first. Personal development. Routine is one of the most number one things I suggest with everything. Anything that you can put into a routine is key to put into a routine. I explain our lives like a house. So your foundation is your mindset, how you focus, what meaning you give things, how you perceive things. And then the top floor, the first floor, second floor, third floor are all the areas of our lives. So our relationships, our careers, everything like that. And so the routines is the glue that sort of holds your foundation together. I'm not a house builder, so I know that there's no glue and foundation, but what it does is it holds everything together so that you're not thinking about the things that are in your routine. We're creatures of habit. So the more that you can put these things into habit, such as dishes, laundry, filling up the gas tank, calling a friend, you put them into routine and they no longer take the emotional energy that you're explaining, right? They're no longer taking all those emotions from you, that attention, and then you are not beating yourself up about, hey, I haven't talked to that person, I haven't replied to that person. So I would say take an inventory of everything you've got. See what you can put into routine that you're kind of falling back on, falling off course on, and then it's prioritizing what comes first. Personal development, you. What comes second? Your family, your health, right? What comes third? Your career, your business. And then you reprioritize everything. And everything really does just align. But what I would say is take one step at a time. One step at a time. Because if you can go from zero, right now you're at zero, right? Just complete chaos. If you can put a little bit of routine in place, you'll go to 5. And then you'll take that 5 to a 10. And you'll take that 10 to a 15. And so you're building up and you're shifting identities. And then you're really seeing like, wow, this is working. And then it's motivating. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to keep doing this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense. I like what you said, especially about the emotional intensity.
Yep.
Not about me not getting things done. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I guess it's also like can we call it a system?
Yeah,
You know, put a
absolutely.
system in place, not to the point where you're autopilot robot, but you're mindful of what you're doing, but you're not investing the emotion into it so much that you're getting it done. By the way, before the call, I wanted to address in a way what you said about all those things that we have in life. Another song dropped in my head. This one, Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime. And many major music stars of today, this song came out in the, again, late 70s. I don't know why, we're talking 70s today, but many major stars, music stars, listen to this song once a month because of its message and the way the music was put together. I'm going to read just a tiny part, but it says, speaks to what you just said. And you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, with 2 beautiful kids. And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? And it goes on to say, and this is not like a sappy folk song. This has got a beat and moves along. And basically, it's let the days go by, let the water hold me down. And even after the money's gone, it's a reference in my belief that the water is always underground and always flowing. That's life. It's always flowing underneath you, but you put all this stuff on top, like all this other stuff. And then the one line of the song is same as it ever was, same as it ever was, meaning to me, you're the same. Nothing's going to change because you have that large automobile and you have that big house. Not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And David brings a point that like a lot of these things that we're trying to juggle are things that we want, right? And so then we feel bad. We feel bad that we are in chaos mode and not gratitude mode for getting the things and having the things that we want, right? And so we have to learn how to enjoy and having some type of system, like you said, not being a robot, right? But we need a system that works. We
Mm.
have so much that we do juggle as priorities and as a purpose that we have to have some type of system. And then to have a system, it reduces what it takes, what the emotional energy that it takes. If we wake up in the morning and we have 100% emotional energy, I think of emotional energy as like this gas tank, right? And so with a good night's sleep, with journaling before you go to bed so that nothing's on your mind and you're not sitting there in the middle of the night with your mind racing, we wake up in the morning with 100% emotional energy. So our tank is full. And if we are immediately thinking, I have so much to do today, I have 6 unread messages and 100 unread, immediately your emotional energy is drained. So by
Mm-hmm.
8 o'clock, you have 50% left for the entire rest of the day.
Yeah,
So
totally.
it's no wonder that at 5 o'clock when you're on your way home, David, like you're drained. I mean, you are emotionally drained. And then you may not be using the tools to refuel you. So what I teach my clients is tools that they can use to refuel, because sometimes what takes our emotional energy is not in our control. You know, someone may pass away or we may have an accident or something may be very emotional to us and it's going to take emotional energy. I teach my clients to step into and use the tools to replenish their emotional energy.
Mm.
Mm.
Uh, it's the mindset. And
Yeah.
that's where you come into play, because I believe we can't do this alone. You need, and it's work. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and just change everything. By the way, you guilted me because I did not write in my gratitude journal today, because no excuse, but because it's been a busy week. I volunteer a lot. I had a lot going on, and I completely forgot. Although I slept well, so my tank is pretty much full. So I'm good there. And just final thought in what I was saying before. There's nothing wrong with having that big house and having those vehicles and having it all. There's nothing wrong with that, but make sure that's what the universe wants for you. Make sure that aligns with who you are, because it may not. And it may be a grand illusion once you have it. So,
Yep.
stuff to think about. How do we connect with you, Trinity?
It's a great question, Steve. So you can find me at my website, thetrinitybaker.com. I'm also on all social media platforms. So look me up, The Trinity Baker, or my name, Trinity Baker. Connect with me, message me. I'm an open book. I love to connect. You can also text me, call me 207-370-1246. I'd love to connect. I love to give individuals inspiration and hope that you too can live a life that is fully amazing and fulfilling as your true self.
Here's my review of you: clear, concise, compassionate. 3 C's. That's you. You get right to the point. It's very understanding. It's very easily understood, and you care. And that's what it's all about. Thank you so much for being here today. I
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And fill up your emotional tank, people. You need to.
You
All
do.
right. We will be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Homes for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.